In this episode, linear equations involving fractions coming up back into action. Hey guys, today I will show you how to solve linear equations involving fractions. For some people it might sound like a nightmare and looks like a nightmare, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down step by step. And as a quick recap, what does it mean to solve a linear equation? Basically, we are looking for the value of x that works for your equation, that makes your equation true. And basically there is only one unique x since it's a linear equation. And the way you would do, you just want to isolate, you want to get your x alone on one side of your equation and write it explicitly in the form of x equals a number that basically gives you the solution or a root, if you will, for your equation. Now, looks a little bit awkward since your x for the first one happens to be in the bottom of your fraction. So you want to get rid of this fraction first of all. So you want to clear off this fraction. And the way you would do, you just simply multiply by x both sides of your equation. So keep in mind that your equation stay in balance as long as you do the operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division to both sides of your equation. That's a good rule of thumb. Now, on the left side, this x cancel out this x, it goes away, disappeared, and you would be left with just 5. On the left side becomes just 5. On the right side, 3x. Now you want to isolate x, basically. You want to get your x alone. And you do, typically you divide by whatever you have, whatever attach your x. So in this case, it's 3, divide through by 3. But both sides. So keep in mind that what you do to one side, you have to do to other side. So keep it balanced, you don't want to change anything. So you would be left with x equals 5/3. That's your solution. That's your root for that first linear equation. And we could box it out. Now, suppose you have been given something like this, so little bit similar to the first one, but you have basically two fractions on both sides of your equation. So a ninja trick that can be used here, you just simply do a cross multiplying. So whatever you have on both of your first fraction, you multiply by the bottom of the second fraction, like that. And also, whatever you have on the bottom of the first fraction, you multiply by whatever you have on top of the first fraction. So that becomes x, again, x times 2 gives you 2x equals 4 times 3. I'm going to spell it out for you the first time, but you could figure out these things in your head, so more power to you, go ahead. Simplify it down. And finally, the last step. Whatever attach your x, in this case it's this 2, divide through. Divide through by 2 both sides of your equation. And you end up getting x is 6. That's which is a solution, a root for your equation. At this point, I would like to just point out, so you could always check your answer. So by just taking these numbers and you plug it in for x into your original equation and check to see if it works. Alright, suppose you have been given something like this. So this is kind of typical linear equation or rational equation, if you like, that might come up, surprisingly. So the same idea, the same ninja trick. You do use cross multiplying. So that would help you to get rid of this annoying fraction. So it's literally annoying. Now, whatever you have on top of your first fraction gets multiplied by whatever you have on bottom of the second fraction. So 2x minus 1, you put the parentheses at this point, gets multiplied by 4, or you could swap the order, doesn't matter at this point, equals, now, whatever you have on bottom of the first fraction, you multiply by whatever you have on top of the second fraction. So 3 gets multiplied by x plus 4. Now, no fractions, we got rid of it beautifully, wonderfully. And this is just equation containing x terms on both sides. And by the way, I have a bunch of different separate videos on how to solve something like this. The links to these videos will be just down below in the description box, and you could check them out later. You could jump into this later, check to see it. Now, the way you would solve this one, just open up the parentheses. So you don't want them, so you want to get rid of them. So whatever you have outside, this 4 distributes over whatever you have inside. So 2x, just keep it in mind. So 2x gets multiplied by 4, negative 1 gets multiplied by 4. The same thing applies for the second term. So 3 gets multiplied by x, 3 gets multiplied by 4. So in the next line of your work, you would have 2x times 4 gives you 8x minus 4. So keep in mind this, you keep this negative sign, 3x plus 12. Now things getting better with the time. So the idea is you want to collect your x terms. When you have something like this, as a good rule of thumb, as a ninja trick, so you want to collect, you want to bring together x terms, collect them on one side of your equation. Numbers collect on other side. So, and you do it just by taking the opposites. So you do the opposites. So you want to bring, let's say, this 3x to the left side by subtracting 3x from both sides of your equation. And also I'm going to do it simultaneously at one go. You want to bring this 4, negative 4, to the right side, to be precise, by adding this 4 to both sides of your equation. So 8x minus 3x, we would get just 5x. 4, negative 4 plus 4 goes away, disappeared, bye-bye. Drop down equality sign. 3x goes away, cancel each other out. And 12 plus 4, that gives you, that would leave you with 16. And finally, thankfully, the last step. So you want to isolate your x. You want to get your x alone. Whatever attach your x, in this case it's 5, divide through both sides of your equation. So you divide by 5, you divide by 5. So you would be left with x, so 5 goes away, disappeared at this point. X equals 16 over 5. It's not that neat integer number, but doesn't matter. So it's a fraction basically, and what you could do, you could just turn it into a mixed number, since 5 goes into 16 3 times, leaving you a fifth as a reminder. So you would be left with your x something like this. And at this point, if you like, you could plug it in back into your original equation. Everywhere x appears, so basically in 2 places, over here and there, and check to see if it works for your equation, and basically it will. Alright, I hope it has been helpful to you. Huge thanks for watching and training your brain. I know everyone hates maths, but if you like my video, please hit this like, share with your friends. leave the comments down below and be sure to subscribe if you haven't, so you will not miss out my new videos. Okay, ready. Equations involving fractions. Well, I don't know. You tell me.